Hello everyone and welcome to the Berserk manga read through. This episode we will be reading through chapters 43 to 47 to wrap up volume 9 of Berserk. So last time was the tournament, fugitives and fighter chapters where we had our time skip of a year ending in a reunion between Guts and Casca after dealing with the very talented and unique warrior Silat. So that's been done, and we've got some great chapter art for the next chapter, Comrades in Arms. Yo. Gods! As everyone rushes to him, celebrating his return. Guts! Hi, Rickett. Still alive, huh? And he looks out. Judo and Pippin. What about Corcus? Corcus, is he going to be happy about this? Nope. He's going to sit there on... Captain Guts! The Raiders. You guys. Very happy to see him. We don't have time to stand around. The enemy will come back. We move while it's still dark. Unit 1, secure the camp's perimeter. Units 2 and 3, carry out the arms and provisions that weren't burned. Everyone else, gather up the horses that ran off. Hurry! Casca. We'll talk later. She's right. We need to hurry. Griffith was... It happened a year ago, the day after you left. I don't believe it. That Griffith would... Why? After you left, Griffith was really depressed. What I think is, it must have been over you, Guts. And now we get this moment where Guts is actually thinking about this moment in hindsight, being like, wow, maybe I actually impacted him way more than I thought I would. Maybe I misjudged. Maybe I misjudged how much he valued me, maybe even as a friend at this point. All because, remember, this is all because of the conversation that Guts overheard Griffith talking about, who he could call his equal. It's very complex. Do we know for sure? I certainly don't at this point in time, but we're figuring it out. In one night, the glorious Band of the Hawk, the mightiest military force in Midland, became a wanted band of thieves. It's enough to make me laugh. But hey, don't let it go to your head. The reason this happened to Griffith ain't because of you. No way. Not a chance. In 1 year, we've dropped to less than a fifth in number. Some fell to the enemy, some left on their own. We can't even be called an army anymore. But it still could have been worse. If Casca hadn't become our leader, by now, a Band of the Hawk without Griffith would have scattered to the winds. The band itself wouldn't exist. She did. Not just that, I think we would have been wiped out that day if Casca hadn't taken command. Here we go. Oh, like 3 arrows in her upper body, 2 in the lower body. Jesus. She was amazing. Without any weapons, surrounded by close to 10 times our number, she rallied everyone on the verge of panic with arrows coming in like a rain, and led the vanguard in breaking through one side of the net. She continued to command us all to the end, not losing consciousness, even with 5 arrow wounds. So since then, Casca has been acting as our leader. Not one person opposed it after that terrific deed. To be honest, I think it's a little unfair to her, but we've got no room for any other option. If the Hawks are to survive. Well, it's not all grim news. We haven't only been running around. Today, a report came from spies slipped into Wyndham that they've found Griffith's location. We're soon going to move forward on a plan we've been going over the past year. We'll rescue Griffith. Which has Guts smiling. The problem, however, is Griffith has been tortured for a year and kept alive for a year with that goddamn torturer. That is like a year, like 365 days of traumatic existence and suffering every single day. Yes, he'll be back to normal as our fearless leader. Everything will be great. Everyone that's still here is worn out. We've been chased around so badly, we're all covered mind and body with wounds. But there's no one left who would try to leave. No one's been coerced into staying either. In the end, everyone here is, for better or worse, a hawk to the core. Courage and willpower alone aren't about to cut it, especially not now. We don't go just to save Griffith. We can't get started again without him. It's a good thing. Huh? You know, when the place you come back to hasn't changed, it's a good thing. On that note, what have you been doing this past year? Yeah, right. Haven't rumors about the Hawks spread to other countries? How come you didn't come sooner? Pippa douche. Sorry, Rickett. I really didn't know. But how? Were you on a deserted island or something? I went into the mountains and swung this sword. Mountain training? Practically was a deserted island. Wow, that's pretty old-fashioned. But, well, I guess it's your thing. You must be really crazy about it. He's Caucus. He's just plain crazy. So, didn't even get out in the world to, like, try and do different things, you know? He was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go swing my sword around some more. See you guys in a year. He did the year's worth of anime training required to catch super sharp flying discs. So, did you find it? You know, honestly, I still don't know. But I found out one thing. No, I felt it. Seems like, for me, nothing but wielding this really feels true. There are no other answers. It feels natural. Guts, all you did was say that you swung your sword in the mountains for a year. I think that if you did nothing but do that, your opinion would be, nothing but this feels right. I mean, I didn't try anything else, but this feels right. If you can say that with a straight face, then well done. Anyway, you're coming back. Your coming back is proof we still had some luck left. I hope you'll help us, Raiders Captain. You mean former Raiders Captain? Hawkus, I won't recognize it. I don't know if it was for some dream or what, but he left on his own. He wasn't here when things were at their worst for us. Think I can call someone like that a comrade? Well, even if I close my eyes to the past, right now as strangers go, you're the real deal. At least get that straight. Damn it, Caucus. Come on, Caucus. Yeah, I get it. Captain, how long are you going to talk about this stuff? Come on over and let's have a drink. Guys. Oh yeah, Gaston. What about your clothing shop in Wyndham? Yeah, about that. I ran out on it. You know, when I heard what happened to these guys, I just couldn't stay there. All it did was frustrate me. Same for you, right, Captain? Wait a minute. Before that. What? About Casca. Thanks to those wounds a year ago, she spent 3 days and 3 nights in a comatose state near death. During that time, she had nightmares and called out over and over to Griffith. And to you. Judo just being like, hey, like, you know, we'll recognize what you said when we parted ways a year ago, that, you know that she has feelings for Griffith. But, by the way, bud, Judo keeps trying to play matchmaker with Guts and Casca. And to you. who quickly looks around when they catch their stare. Are they perfect for each other? Yes. She's pushing herself harder than it looks. She's always been one with too much on her shoulders. But there's nothing we can do. You can. Here we go. It's time for a conversation between Guts and Casca. Come with me for a bit. And that's the end of Comrades in Arms. So move into the next chapter. Chapter 45. Confession. Defend yourself. Eh? Hey, hold on. What's this about? We've hardly spoken in a year and we're just gonna have at it? Well, this is like you, but you gotta be kidding. Casca reaches for a sword and swings around faster than Guts can even prepare himself. Oh! He quickly has to block with his sword still sheathed. God damn. Time out. Hey, hold on. That strike. You really tried to kill me. She keeps pushing forward, going once again, while Guts still hasn't even been able to pull his sword out yet. She's serious. Who then proceeds to Ultra Instinct again, dodge her flurry of blows. Oi! Don't mess around. Draw your sword. Continues dodging. Guts has learned a lot. And trips her up so she falls down on the ground. What the hell's with you? Reckless as ever, I see. Tell me why. It's a little much for you to try and kill me when we haven't seen each other in a year. Why did you come back now? It's your fault. You destroyed all of it. It's your fault. Then he draws his sword and it's a clash. Mine? Yes. Griffith, the Hawks, everything. You messed it all up. How? Because you left us. Because you abandoned Griffith. Wait a minute. You can't be serious. This is Griffith. I need to stop saying be serious and then have my phone go, hello, yes, it's me, Siri. What would you like? You can't be serious. Stop it. This is Griffith. Griffith. Because I left. There's no way things could go wrong just from that, right? It couldn't be. You really are a complete fool. And he then goes to try and knee Guts in the gonies and slice him with the sword. I thought I told you back then that someone who wants to accomplish something, if it's grand, endures that much more. Endures that much more than other people do. Griffith had to make himself strong. But Griffith isn't a god. A person's heart can't be sustained by ideals and dreams alone. You made Griffith weak. Griffith's no good without you. Ooh. And that one gets to him, allowing Casca to get a blow right through him. And then pulls it out immediately. That's crazy. You should have been able to dodge. Why? Still holding onto the sword. That's enough. Let go. Bleeding. Then, what else should I have done? Idiot, let go. I only did what Griffith would have done. If we don't stanch the bleeding, I just did my own thing. What else should I have done? Let go. Alright, I get it. Let go, you fool. Oh, she pulls the sword back. Ugh. I know. I know what you're saying is right. Really, I do. But I just can't take it anymore. I told you before that I want to be beside Griffith. That I want to be his sword. Yeah, I remember. That wasn't true. The me who wished to become that way, was bluffing. I'm sure I genuinely meant it at first, but one day I realized Griffith's not a god, and I am a woman. How easy would it be if I could just make my heart feel the way I want it to? I'm not stupid. I realized if Griffith set his sights on the throne of Midland, marrying Princess Charlotte would be his fastest shortcut. And knowing Griffith, I figured he'd be sure to take it someday. Maybe even what's happening now. I thought I could bear even this. I wanted to believe. If I couldn't be near him as a woman, as his sword, it would be alright so long as I could become something indispensable to the realization of his dream. I wanted to believe, but I finally understood clearly that day a year ago that there was no longer room next to Griffith the way there used to be. My dream had already ended. I can't do it anymore. Desperately trying to protect the Band of the Hawk. It's like I was going to disappear if I didn't at least cling to some fruitless hope. But enough's enough. I couldn't be a woman, or something invaluable, to keep on protecting the almost broken dream of someone who might not even be alive. I just can't. I'm so tired. You do the rest. Oh. She goes to come to this point where she tries to end it. Guts' bloody hand grabs her, tries to stop her from falling to her death. And there was one more thing I realized that day. Though he destroyed everything, though he took it all from me, even though I hate him, even now, though I feel like I want to kill him. Pulls her back up. What the hell are you thinking? Look here. Don't you ever go near a cliff again. I can't deal with being dragged off 2 or 3 times. You fool. You're always getting hurt. Always because of me. You're always bleeding. You're such a fool. Fool. Romance. I love it. I love it. Such a deep and complex relationship and how they've grown together and grown as people in the Band of the Hawk together and apart in this past year. And like the way that this reunion has been shown is like Casca's feelings are incredibly valid how she's processing this right now. And Guts, who had no idea, was like, hey, like I needed, what else could I have done, or should I have done? Like Casca being mad at Guts for like doing something that is completely fair enough, and how Griffith processed that emotion is what tore everything apart. Like, you can't justify Griffith's actions with it's all because of Guts. Too much pressure to put on one person to not be able to feel like they can live their own life when Griffith then is like, well, as a result, I'm going to go and destroy my entire army. Yeah, not good. But that was the end of Confession, so we're moving into chapter 46, which is titled Wound. Chapter 46. I finally realized that day that more than Griffith brought to his knees from his first defeat. I couldn't tear my eyes away from him as he left without even looking back. But I didn't want to admit what I had become. It was like the me I had been since I met Griffith, like the feelings I'd had since then would all be false. Afraid of all that, I've lived by the sword with the intent of sacrificing myself for my unrequited feelings for Griffith. There is no falsehood in the way I live. That alone was my pride, because it's what Griffith gave to me. But there it is, Wounds, Chapter 1. As after they had a bit of a fight, you know, to ease the tension, they needed to have a different kind of fight to ease this tension. You're shaking. You scared? I am. I wonder if I'm going to wind up changing. If by doing this with you, everything from yesterday, everything I felt so desperately will become a lie. It's like what was important will fade away and be gone. I'm such a coward. These scars, they must be from the arrows a year ago. That ain't all. There's lots of little ones and big ones. What's the point in hiding them now? They're like medals for mercenaries, you know. I'm used to them. Even I'm a woman. I know that. You get all jealous, you get mad fast, and you're quick to hit. You're plenty womanly. I feel it to the bone. I get it already. I know how serious you were. Nobody lies their way into a body with this many scars. I understand. Did you know the jinx of the battlefield? If you spend too much time focused on the dead or broken, you'll find death perched on your shoulder. He was on yours earlier. Don't think about those things. Right now, all you need is to feel alive. I'll believe it. That my feelings for him now aren't lies. And then Guts and Casca start doing the stuff together. And then they do a bit more stuff together. And it gets a little bit interesting with stuff that's going on the panel. Yeah, we're just watching a scene happen. Not entirely sure what this scene even is. I've never seen anything quite like this before in my life. But they're really just pulling some moves on each other. They're just really going for it. They're just what a great sparring match, you know? Just some training in the woods. Not bad. Not bad. There's certainly stuff going on over here. Yep, there we go. And there's some more stuff, and it's still going, by the way. Just scrolling through this, and then, oh my fucking god. This is the most, like, this is ridiculous. Oh my god. Oh my god. Gambino, sold your ass out. And then Gambino saying you should have died. And, dude, like... Ugh, that's rough. Guts? And that's the end of Wounds, Chapter 1. And sexual trauma really surfaces in such interesting ways. The way that this is handled is very, very realistic as well. It's really hard to when you're reading something like this, or getting into something like this, and you have previous knowledge of this kind of topic, and how serious it is, and how it manifests in people and in relationships with people, is what came into his mind as an intrusive thought, is a thing that happens to people that are traumatized. He literally just ended up putting him, like, not willingly, but due to just a traumatic response, realized that he was in a position similar to what was his name? Donovan, right? That he was like, I'm the one in this position, whether this is consensual or not, which it is, between Guts and Casca. He's literally just like, the way that he's put himself in this position, and that flash is all you need to just completely take him out at the moment and relive all of that trauma. Sometimes it can just literally come from nothing, and I think the way that was handled was very effective, because that literally was just like it's very confronting stuff, because like the instant flash of seeing that on the panel again, is how quickly that would come into his mind, and then he's like looking at Casca's innocence in that moment, going like, Guts, what's up? And just seeing his inner child. He's seeing himself and his past and that traumatic event, and I think I mentioned this in previous episodes, talking about the event that happened with Donovan and Guts. This is handled very realistically and respectfully. It doesn't make light of these issues at all. It recognizes them as very real events that happen in a lot of people's lives, and the fact that it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, this happens to everyone in many different ways. And I honestly really respect how Miura handles difficult topics that can be very confronting, and I'm blown away with how he does this stuff in a story of still images. And the fact that I'm doing a reaction where I'm reading it through out loud with you guys and still being fully immersed in this story enough to really feel the effects of it, and what is being communicated says a lot. It definitely says a lot. But that is my piece. That is what I will ramble on about the end of chapter 1, Wounds, and the next chapter, chapter 47, will be the second part of Wounds. So we're greeted with this as the opener for chapter 47, which is almost, in a sense, like a timeline, which is what I'm seeing here immediately, is from birth through to his events. Band of the Hawk, Nosferatu Zod, Wounds, chapter 2. Very fitting chapter title name as well for Wounds, as he drags his sword through his life and all of these moments throughout life. Oh man, and it's just in case that the previous chapter showing these flashes again was not enough, it's here again. The wounds of Guts' past with Donovan, with Gambino, should have died. Should have died. And we're in this position where he's put himself in the shoes of Donovan in this moment, completely unwillingly, because he is like, there's PTSD here, there's trauma, immense amounts of trauma, and he is currently reliving that trauma, and trauma is filled with intrusive thoughts. It's filled with intrusive thoughts, and it's not something that's easy to come under control. Like, it can literally, like, he will, what he's literally dissociating from reality completely right now, lost in his past and his trauma, as he is like, yeah, having to relive everything that he's just gone through, and he feels like he's literally paralyzed. He's literally paralyzed while he's doing this, because he doesn't realize what he's doing, like, in reality, because he's stuck in this motion where he's like reliving his past trauma, and that's like physically coming out, where he's unfortunately choking Casca in this instance, and then lets go and drops her down. He's not willingly choking her out, he's literally like dissociating. Guts. Why? He slams his fist on the tree. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't mean... I didn't mean to kill you, Gambino. Kill? A big black shadow covered over me. He forced me, pinned down my arms and legs. I couldn't resist. Not as a child. Couldn't do a goddamn thing. So I murdered him. Made it look like death in battle. From behind with a bowgun. That pig bastard. Gambino assaulted you? So you killed him? No! Gambino was different. I never meant to kill him. Gambino... He took me in when I was a baby and almost dead. And taught me the sword. So why? Why? Why'd he sell me out to that pig bastard? He was always drinking. Always after he lost his leg in battle. He'd talk to this dog. Shizu, which I believe is Sis, right? This because we had to switch. We had to switch publications. So I think Shizu is this translation, but I'll continue calling it Sis, which is what we had before. Not once would he call out my name. He got drunk and suddenly attacked me. I thought he'd avoid the blow, but when I looked, there was my sword in Gambino's throat. My sword. He told me I should have died. He said I should have died 11 years before, beneath my mother's corpse. I'm sorry, Gambino. Father. And Pasca trying to reach out with a comforting hand, which like makes it like him like shoot up immediately in shock. And then this is like one of those things where that touch from another human has brought him back to reality, because he's very much lost in the past there. Sorry, I did something horrible. Sorry, this was your first time, but I did that. I can't just say forget it now that this has happened. I'll go now if you tell me to get lost. Otherwise, I swear I'll make it up in battle. Guts. You. Yes, I killed my father. I meant to get over it a long time ago. This past year, I didn't remember it one time. Why'd it come back now? It's laughable. I've killed so many people. More people than I can count. So why? Why just this? Just Gambino? such. Forget about it. It'd just be us licking each other's wounds. Fine. Even if that's all it is. Fine. I've already shown you everything. All my weaknesses have been laid bare before you. Somehow I feel like we're finally even. You bled so much for me. These are wounds from the 100-man battle, right? Even the wound I gave you. Licking wounds is good enough. I too want a wound that I can say you gave me. Romantic. I will change. Maybe my place is within this man's heart. Not just being given to, maybe I can give something as well. And then, more stuff happens. Ah, man. As if I dozed off. For some reason I recalled myself as a boy, rubbing in the medicine Gambino gave me. Beside the boy, an oversized sword shines dimly. It's the end of Wounds, Chapter 2. That's one of the most beautifully written chapters that we've gone through so far. Honestly, it's one of the most beautifully written chapters that we've gone through, and I think it's honestly amazing how, like I said, like respectfully and realistically, that trauma is portrayed. Guts has gone through a lot. Guts has gone through a hell of a lot. And that brings us to the end of Volume 9. Some very rough and confronting stuff in there. So we moved away from some horrific acts that were committed by Griffith and the King, only to then move into reliving trauma and how to deal with the things that you didn't actually get over just because you ignored them. You didn't actually process your trauma. It was waiting for a specific event to trigger it, and you weren't ready for it. That's exactly what happened there, to deal with that. And it's really tough to read through, but thank you for reading through this episode of Berserk with me, guys. Next episode will be Volume 10, as we start with Chapter 48. So again, thank you so much for watching and coming through these things with me. I hope you don't mind when I do go on a bit of a rant or a ramble about the characters and the story, but it's fantastically written, beautifully drawn. Can't show you all of it, unfortunately. Because we gotta hide some bits and some stuff out of some events that I have no idea what's going on. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Berserk.